What's up, everyone? It's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, which means you're tuning in to Cannabis Legalization News. I'm producer Lauryn, and today we're going to be speaking with Tankson from PrestoDoctor, and he's going to answer a question we get a lot at CLN, which is, how do I get a medical card? So we're going to be speaking with him in a few minutes, but first we do have to get into a little bit of cannabis legalization news. So, Mickey, Tom, what's going on?
Hi, Lauryn. How are you doing?
Hey,
Mickey. Still reporting from weed, are you?
Live from the weeds.
Live from the weeds. Even your microphone looks like it's made of weed.
I know, that's pretty dope, dude. I love that.
We're going to have to really thank that guy that has made this a wonderful part of everybody's week. And thanks so much for joining us. And if you're wondering, no, that real estate probably won't do for your craft grow. And that has been the thing that everybody's been talking to me about all week, is just, how do I find the real estate? What type of real estate do I need? And it just goes on like that.
Are you finding zoning issues? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. There are a whole mess of zoning issues. And so look for me to hop on one of these really quick, probably this weekend when I'm in Chicago, Saturday. And then I'll do one of these where I'm like, all right, let's find you the zoning so that you can see where you should be looking for your real estate. Because for the craft grow, the infuser licenses, you need an address. And that address is quite crucial.
That is part of the shitstorm that happened here in Washington.
The real estate problem?
Yeah, when I-502 kicked in, that's the law that made recreational.
Yeah.
As soon as it was activated, people scooped up spots. I got a warehouse here, blah blah. And then of course moratoriums kicked in, or neighborhood zoning regulations.
Yeah, we have opt-outs. And so close to Chicago, it gets quite dense. Like here in Peoria is fine. Like if you want to open up a craft grow, come to Peoria, we'll let you. But if once you get closer to Chicago, in those collar counties, once one of them, like Naperville, for example, will say no, and then all the little surrounding ones will say no, and then the ones that do say yes will have these setbacks that they put. So 2,500 feet from everything. So you really only have one place in town, and then for some reason that place in town doubles in price overnight.
Man, that's gonna be a fun time for you guys. Again, you're going through the aches and pains at the beginning of what legalization is.
Well, the aches and pains are real. I mean, I told you that I actually went to try to buy legal cannabis in Illinois, not using my medical card. Used my medical card because I wanted to buy some flower. I got some Arez flower because some people said that, no, you should try it again. It's pretty good. And you know what? It is pretty good. And so if I would have not had my medical card, no flower, because the medical patients are preferenced over the adult use patients, and the adult use, I guess they aren't adult use patients, the adult use customers. And then in the adult use customer line, there was only one type of flower. It was basically industrial hemp.
And that's eventually gonna I think you guys are gonna go dry eventually. Your guys
are gonna go dry. I mean, it's already dry. It can't get drier than it is now. There ain't no weed.
Yeah, it's just crazy that you guys. I mean, I like your structure, honestly, because that encourages more people to get into the medical thing. But unfortunately, do you guys, that medical situation, is it a registry that you guys are, or how does that work? What kind of database is that?
I'm not sure exactly what type of database there is, but there's a database out there with the medical patients, and there's about 100,000 of us now. Not even, but a lot of people have been getting their medical cards so that it's cheaper when you actually go and buy, because you're not going to pay all those crazy taxes like the regular adult use patient. They aren't adult use patients, but all use is medical use, right? So whenever the adult use customers are, but then also you get preference over flower. So for right now, you're going to be able to actually go and buy maybe 1/8 of flower. And then also you can go to your home and then grow from home. That was the thing that I just hopped on the internet and I did a piece on how to buy seeds legally online.
Yeah, I saw that. So what's your recommendation for a place?
It depends on what you're looking for. And then actually one of the best things on that video that I did was in the comments. So check the comments on the how to buy seeds legally video that I did last week. I was wearing a stocking cap and I was very cold because it's January and you can't find any place that actually is selling seeds right now. None of the dispensaries are. And in the law, it says you can buy these seeds from a dispensary, but you can't, not right now. It's a real public policy conundrum, because you want patients to have access to their medicine and be able to grow cannabis, but then you also want them to do it legally. And so how do they do it? And I think really what it comes down to is seeds don't weigh very much.
What do you mean, like as far as sales go, or like how you're talking
Well,
before?
how do they punish cannabis? They punish cannabis by the weight, right?
Gotcha.
So like if a seed weighs 1/50th of a gram, if you need 50 whole seeds for a gram and you're selling seeds by the three, like, feminized autoflower seeds, 3 for $40,
Yeah.
that's it's a fraction of a gram. So what are you going to get busted for?
Yeah, that's
Selling
true
a
story.
fraction of a gram. And then I'm sure like in some states, they say that you can have a seed license where you can sell seed, and maybe some states allow you to sell on the internet and then they can cross state lines. But
I haven't heard of that though.
totally illegal. What's that?
I haven't heard of any state seed sales. Like as far as
Yeah, you can find seeds on the internet. I got some from Mephisto, and people can find seeds on the internet. And you go to that video that I did on how to buy seeds legally online. Looking in the comments, people are just giving tips about, no, go to this website,
nice.
check out these genetics. It's great.
Well, that's a great part about this community, right? If we give people a platform to interact with each other, and then shit like that, you find things out.
Yeah, but that is kind of interesting that in the comments because I did a little bit of legwork to find where people are saying that they're getting their seeds, both in Europe and then also in the United States, and then you kind of dig into that whole rumor that they're a souvenir. The Controlled Substances Act is very clear. It's cannabis and the seeds thereof. It's right there. Yeah.
No, I think cannabis people are very helpful because we all want to overgrow the freaking world, essentially.
Yeah, we want the world to look like your backdrop.
Damn right. Like I said, eventually it'll be at the price of broccoli, but it won't be for like another 20 or 30 years until we have that.
The price of broccoli, but I will give you it'll be at the price of Busch Light.
Okay.
But because like the most expensive aspect of that Busch Light is probably the tax dollar on the alcohol.
Well, what's crazy right now? So I did a little experiment for our viewers. I purposely again, we're fighting for the bullshit 10% here. I
can't believe it. It's the home of legal weed, and they're fighting over limitations to purity. And so they're trying to limit the amount of cannabis extracts in Washington State to 10%, which is ridiculous because Washington State has flower that is twice or 3 times 10%. And why they think that that's going to make it safer is beyond me. But I couldn't also believe how many Democrats were trying to do it. I mean, the prejudice against cannabis is real, yo.
No, it's freaking retarded. Today is the day. What I just showed you was my comment because I put that last night, last minute entry. We can put comments through the website, which is pretty dope because then it sends it to my representatives and they receive my message. And then, but this morning, so for sake of science, this is all science based. This is
science. So we're here for educating about legislative process and science.
Yeah. We're here to be the test dummies for you guys. So like I got this Gorilla Cookies Falcana extra sticky. And
what's the THC content on that?
So it says 25.7%.
Okay, so like, could you buy that flower if they pass that concentrate law where it's going to be limited to 10% because now your flower is 2.5 times stronger than your concentrate?
Well, this goes to the retardation of our legislators. This is just pure reefer madness.
Reefer madness in Washington State, in the state that legalized it first for adult use.
We have more than that. So like this has been a busy week, right? I mean, 2020 seems like it's been 3 years already. It's only been 4 weeks. In the last week with Kobe's death and the Trump stuff with impeachment and then the bombings in Iran and all this other crap.
Oh, and the Super Bowl's on Sunday. You know what that means? It means next week's episode is our official 1-year anniversary.
Oh my god, dude! It's been it's fucking dope. We've changed a lot. I've watched some of our older ones.
And to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, let's give away a shirt. The shirt says 110100100. Miggy, can you please translate the shirt for the good folks at home?
That'd be a binary 420.
Okay, so 110 is 4 then in binary, I'm assuming.
Well, the way binary works, you the numbers start from right to left. So like 001, like not off my head. This is not
anyway on the back though. It does say cannabis legalization news, and so then we need a small procedure for how to give this away. First off, it would be, well, who wants a shirt? That's usually a yes. But then the second one is, well, how do we then find out where to mail that shirt? So I guess the first person to drop their address in the comments, we'll mail you a shirt.
There you go. Well, not the whole address, but the
no. I want the people to expose themselves to their address on the internet, and then after we mail them the shirt, we will delete the comment.
Right. So, as we're talking about how Washington, a legal state, is facing reefer madness, there's also, during that crazy week of stuff that's been happening, we got an Oregon person, now cross-dressing Mormon. I mean, I don't know what the. Everybody's got their shtick, whatever, but he's facing cannabis charges. So, and along with that, in Oregon, another legal state, in Michigan, there's a federal just got 16 years federally.
16 years.
Yeah. So
that's at medical Michigan
and recreational.
But like, all right, was this guy licensed? Was he state law compliant, being sentenced to 16 years in federal prison for cannabis?
Yeah, but so just like with Lance Gore, an investigation will start with the state, and then they hand it over to the DEA, and then once the DEA gets involved, they're obligated to
fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, bullshit. Period. In a freaking hey, we got an address. All right, Marge,
you take that second part of her name there, Miggy.
No, we're good.
All right. Well, we're gonna. Well, I'll give her a zip code. I don't think she's gonna be exposed with her zip code, but
there you go.
Marge Melendez. I'll have to look up that one.
And then we have some backup shirts, so maybe Facebook user can get one of them from me. I have pink ones. I have large and too small. I gave them away. So I gave a bunch of shirts away at an event I went to this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
what was the name of the event?
It was just a social. Out here, we have a lot of the old hats, the cannabis growers from 80s, 90s,
Cool.
And so a lot of that's the culture that, I just people. Yeah.
Mm.
So it was just a small event with a bunch of growers. One of the people though, Myro Keef Box. He's a kind of infamous. He makes keef boxes out of wood, kind of craftsman type stuff.
Nice.
He's one person I gave it to, but yeah, it was just a social.
That's cool. And then on Saturday at UIC on Off Halstead in Chicago is going to be the mayor's Chicago Cannabis Resource Fair. See you there.
How was the chai event?
Oh, the Green and Shy, that was great. That was last Wednesday, and it was a wonderful time. There's a vibrant cannabis entrepreneur culture in Chicago, and I can't wait to see the types of businesses that Chicago creates for cannabis over the next 5 years. It's going to be something else.
If you meet media people out there, you should point them to me so they can help me put content on the other side.
I did. I met a media person there, and I thought her last name was the title of her company. It was like Green Jams or something. I can't remember. It was stupid. Anyway, let's see. Let's fight to the right to legally cannabis. No, please address time. All right. Well, there's that. But I do want to thank, what was her name again? Marge. Thank you, Marge. Send you a shirt.
Yeah. Hey, somebody asked about medical licenses or medical prescriptions in Illinois. Maybe we should bring our guests on and talk about
medical prescriptions in Illinois.
Yeah,
that sounds like something our guests would know about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rob, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. How's everybody?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on and telling us about your business. PrestoDoctor. What is that?
So PrestoDoctor is the #1 rated doctor service for cannabis. So think of us as the virtual doctor's office. If patients want to get a medical card, they don't have to go to a clinic. They can literally get on their phone, get on their computer, talk to a doctor, and complete the whole process from home.
Awesome. So when did you guys get going?
We launched in the summer of 2015. So it's been about almost 5 years now.
Really cool. What state did you start in, and how did that go, and how was the expansion?
So launched in California, which was, the world's largest cannabis market. So learned a lot there. Able to expand out. Currently, we do cards in California, Nevada, New York, Oklahoma, and Missouri, with more to come, hopefully.
Cool. You guys figure out the barriers in between, because here in Seattle, or rather Washington, when medical, even the whole Rockies northeast side, because I saw in Montana back when it first became medical, I was driving through, because I used to travel as a technician, and on the free highways, I'd see billboards, come get your medical card or blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of what's hurt Montana, because they were kind of so flagrant out there. And here in Washington, we kind of did the same thing where people would at HempFest would show up at a booth and get signed. What kind of hurdles are you facing when it comes to like, this is a legit, analysis or prescription? Because I do the same thing with the VA. I go online, I say, hey, I just need more asthma spray. It's all I need. I mean, it's that simple. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. So, sorry, you cut out a bit, but
sorry. What kind of hurdles are you facing for the states, though?
Got it. So patient-wise, each state varies, right? So certain states we're able to operate in, the ones I mentioned. The states allow you to, establish a patient-doctor relationship online. The states that we can't, Colorado,
what about
Illinois, Florida. Those are markets, large markets with a lot of sick people that we like to be able to service, but unfortunately, there's barriers. You have to have that doctor-patient relationship established in person. So we're kind of working with legislators and seeing what we can do to get those changed. A lot of the laws are really outdated, and so that's our biggest challenge is getting around the laws and working with legislation to be able to offer more access.
Is it, why do you think that is? Because our show is all about changing laws and how difficult that can be, but why do you think some states require an in-person patient evaluation to create that, that doctor-patient relationship?
Sure. So, it's kind of a mix. States like Colorado originally allowed telemedicine in cannabis. Unfortunately, that was abused by, some physicians who essentially ran a script mill, just getting patients in, getting them out, collecting their buck, and then just running a business like in a way like that. I think those type of companies really put a bad taste in legislation's name. Other states are more just outdated, like Florida's law, for example. It's just an old law in the books that should eventually be changed.
Which is kind of ironic for a pill mill state, right?
Yeah.
But are you working on any platform? Tom, you're on mute. Are you working on any platform to like a presentation for each state? Those ignorant states. Are you saying hey, here's virtually we can check the doctor can meet the person and hear his complaints, his pain, and be like, you know what, cannabis will solve that. Is there anything you're working on with that?
Yeah. So as far as every patient that goes through our platform, they're able to get, in addition to talking to a knowledgeable doctor about cannabis, they also get a treatment plan that's personalized to their needs. We're not allowed to give a legal prescription, but the recommendation is obviously the legal jargon for it, what patients get. But in addition to that, being a service that provides that extra step that gives them the treatment plan, we see a lot of patients. Some are new, some have been using for years, but ultimately it teaches all patients that it is a medicine and how they can track their use.
Yeah, in this industry, a lot of people are quite passionate and excited to be in it. When did you are you passionate about what you do? And if so, when did you know that you were that this was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. This is it's almost a dream. I look forward to every day. The thing that drives me, my team is the first, but besides that is the patients, really seeing how much of a difference this plant makes in people's lives. People call in to us all the time, message, email, and some are in tears, some are just sharing their stories, and that's it's nothing more rewarding than that.
Okay.
As far as when I knew, I think just really learning more about the plant, knowing that it could have possibly made the last days for some family members a lot smoother. So that's what really sparked my interest.
What here in Washington, it used to be in the beginning, a naturopath could give you a prescription, right? I believe in wellness and holistic stuff. Well, with our recreational, that kind of killed that part, right? They've created different licenses. Do you have a diagram for each state? I imagine each state's got its own little semantics about who can be a prescribed. Some you need an actual doctor, other ones it's cool, man. You just did that online certificate, good to go.
Yep. No, it definitely varies by state, and as you guys know, in different markets, it's each state is its own little island, right?
Right.
And the same thing with the medical process. In New York, for example, doctors, MDs and DOs, as well as nurse practitioners can write recommendations. In other states, it's only MDs and DOs. The state processes do vary. based on like where you are, how much paperwork you have to do. The good thing is it can all be done online though. Everything can be done from home.
That's fascinating. Now, do you help? Because I'm assuming, and I'd like to know more about how PrestoDoctor works from a business model standpoint. So, what I'm assuming, and let me know if I'm wrong, and please explain it. You're facilitating the doctor to have a checkup with the patient. So the doctor gets paid. The patient's probably the one who's paying, because very often health insurance does not cover cannabis. And then you guys are the tech company that's kind of the intermediary that's allowing that partnership or pairing or matching of patient to doctor who's using the web portal to find each other. Is that right, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. So PrestoDoctor is a platform. We allow patients to sign up, register, and then we host a video chat on our website. And so that's how patients connect to doctors. And then afterwards we're able to help them through all the paperwork and stuff that they need.
Is it one fee?
Oh, sorry. As far as how we make money, patient pays a fee. PrestoDoctor splits that with the doctors. We have contracts with them, and then doctor gets paid, we get paid. We handle all of the marketing, all of the support, and just kind of think of us as like the virtual back end for doctor's office for our physicians who are remote.
Mm-hmm.
No, the virtual is the way to go. Again, like I was saying through the VA, when I have issues, I just call them up, and I only see him one time. But the whole personal thing, it seems a little excessive. Unless like, hey, I got a bump right here, doc. Can you check it?
Or like, let's check your temperature and blood pressure. If you want to really make some jack, who doesn't? It's America. Figure out how to do like an online blood pressure reader. I'm assuming they have them, right? They have blood pressure readers that I can go to Walgreens right now and buy one, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have some really high tech ones. They're still pretty expensive, like for what you're talking about.
Sure.
But I mean, sooner or later, that's gonna be, those prices will come down. They'll be more accessible. So it's only
I do consults online through a video conference, fairly similar to the one we're having right now. That becomes a podcast and whatnot, but still, it's 2020. I mean, I'm not sure why some states, other than they don't like change, and most people don't, not most states don't, as to why they can't have a virtual medical checkup where you can interview a doctor via video conference and make a diagnosis.
Yeah, and there are even some states. I met the gentleman. Had a chance to meet the gentleman that wrote the bill for Pennsylvania. And when I approached him and just having a conversation about what we did, he didn't even know that telemedicine wasn't allowed, and he agreed himself. Wow. So sometimes it's these bills are so large that even the person that wrote it doesn't even realize like all this stuff is in here. So he gave me his card. He was pretty excited about getting that changed because he knew that that allows more patient access.
Right.
Have you thought about doing like a storefront, like maybe just having like one blood pressure checker, one thermometer, and then like a monitor right there, so like people can just cycle through? I mean, I imagine just work around some of those weird states where you got to have that first personal contact.
Yeah. So we have some plans as far as how to best attack that. We haven't had brick and mortar locations yet, but we do a ton of events. I think we've done since 2015. We've done over 120 events. We've done anything from smaller, more intimate events, where we see a couple people, we're just more so educating them, to anything up to we've been the official physician of High Times Cannabis Cups, where we evaluate thousands of patients in a few days. So I'd say our presence at events is like one of our strongest marketing pieces. It doesn't have the storefront, but it has a storefront feel that we're always in communities, always like offering our services in person as well.
So when you do these events, are these like trade shows, or are these specific industry type events for what?
Yeah, so some are trade shows, but most of them are, Oklahoma coined the phrase patient drive. Dispensaries have, like these drives, they'll advertise them for a few weeks. Patients will show up, tons of them, because, there's either no doctor that does cannabis evaluations. There are, patients that have to, take long drives, miss work. So these things have been, pretty successful there. And also we've done them in other states since 2015. We've done them in California and kind of all over.
No, that's a big one too. How do you vet your doctors? Because I imagine, like you were saying, a lot of these guys are afraid to prescribe cannabis. Even in California, Dr. David Allen was facing prosecution for being a cannabis doctor, and the guy was a heart surgeon.
Wow.
So how do you vet these guys?
Yeah, no, and great point. We are pretty fortunate to be able to, at this point at least, to be able to be very picky. We get about 15 to 20 CVs per month. We're able to go through them. As far as the qualifications go, most states just require a doctor's license. Some states require a doctor goes, an extra step and does a state, training program. But I mean, overall, we've been pretty fortunate. But initially, we thought that would be the hardest challenge. We like starting a company. How the hell we attract doctors to work with us? We're not.
Yeah.
But our savior was Angel.co. It's kind of a less known LinkedIn competitor, but that was pretty helpful.
Well, I think it's okay.
I was going to say, like, I had the similar thing because I practice in cannabis law, and I'll post a job post, and it's just like, I'm not going through 100 resumes.
Yeah.
But and I totally feel like your pain as far as your fear, like when you started this, because in the early days, I mean, when Prop 215 just started, it was hard, and people were getting prosecuted, and so now do people like? I mean, I imagine because you're a good intermediary. I mean, you're like the Craigslist for doctors, really, because it's going to come down to someone looking for a doctor, and you're saying, "Hey, I got that guy." Because a lot of people don't know. Even in legal states here in Washington, people ask me, where do I get a script? And there's only 2 or 3 guys still doing it out here.
Yeah,
Good on you, man.
Yeah, it's the stigma is it's improving as far as the crimes and what people are being prosecuted for. From our perspective, seeing that we used to initially get a lot of calls more on the legal front saying, hey, what do I do if this happens? Or, hey, this just happened, what do I do? Whereas it was maybe, like 5 a quarter, 2015, we get maybe 1 a year in the last year.
That's good. I bet the defunding of the war on medical marijuana at the federal level has probably helped that, because that really started around 2015. So it sounds like you've probably are familiar with a lot of various states' regulations for getting their medical card for cannabis patients. Which state has just the most ridiculous hoops and hurdles for its patients?
Yes, I feel like a cannabis attorney myself. You have to know these laws in this state and that state. You can't tie your shoe this way in that state. And then sometimes they change, right? Just because. Yeah. Felt like it. I'd say overall now the process has gotten a lot better. As far as who has the most ridiculous, I guess I would say ridiculous in the sense of I believe patients should be able to get same day access. New York, for example, their program has gotten a lot better. Now patients can have an appointment with us and get a physical copy from the state. A PDF copy from the state same day. Whereas before it would take 2 weeks, so they can go into the dispensary same day.
Mine took 2.5 months.
Wow.
What the?
It was Bruce Rauner's administration. He totally screwed us in Illinois on our medical cannabis, and they just dragged their heels. That's why all these producers in Illinois are like, no, we get 2020 monopoly style, because you guys made us bleed hard in 2015, 2016. Like we didn't have plants for like 2 years. And then like the patient count was just minuscule. And like you'd apply if you could find a doctor, you'd go on a doctor hunt first, which would take forever.
Yeah.
And then you'd apply, and then because they didn't hire anybody in that department. It was just like, no, 2 guys. We all have 2 guys working there. And so it was a 2.5 month backlog. And so you'd not same day access, maybe same trimester access.
Yeah.
If medical started like that, I don't think we'd be where we're at today. Because even in California and Washington, for me, it was a matter of just going to some guy with my veterans record and saying, "Hey, look, man, I got back issues. Period. Like it's this thick, And they're like, "Well, you're fucked up. Here's a script." But man, that's just painful to wait that long, dude. Do you have anything special for veterans as far as the process goes in the States?
Yeah. So process-wise, it's essentially the same. We do offer a veteran discount though, just as a thank you, for further service, just to show our appreciation.
Nice. And then I guess I heard that they had something to do with the NFL.
Yeah. So, as unfortunate as it is, the NFL has a very strong stance on cannabis, which obviously we don't agree with. Been actually trying to contact them. So if anyone has any NFL contacts, hit me up.
Well, the woman who's in charge of she used to be the Washington D.C. Chile police chief. I can say that 10 times. But now she's running the security for the NFL, and she said that cannabis was not a crime worth chasing. So, I mean, you got it ends. What was the article you wrote about the NFL regarding CBD stuff, or?
So the article I wrote, on PrestoDoctor's blog was about cannabis and CTE. It was around the time, I believe 2015, 2016, when the Will Smith movie came out.
What was that one called? That was it's where he was the doctor, right? And they were studying.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a good one though. But and then it just keeps getting worse because like that Aaron Hernandez documentary just came out on Netflix, and they study his body post-mortem after he kills himself, and it turns out he's got all his CTE in his brain. He's like 25. You know,
with Junior Seau too.
Yep.
Yeah, the movie was Concussion actually.
Concussion, yeah.
But still, all that beating in the head, I mean, cannabis would definitely help with that.
Oh, yeah. You want to know why?
It's
U.S. Patent 663507.
Right.
But you guys, everybody's heard of that one, right? And so that's why on that one, I'll just kind of make sure that we share the screen. And it's just annoying that they've known that cannabis has antioxidants, and then there's this word right here, neuroprotectorants.
Yeah.
And that they've known the whole damn time. And then that's such a treatment option that why are you giving them opioids and alcohol when they could be using something that might actually have a protective beneficial effect, and then give them some pain relief for their sore joints and muscles too? It just
doesn't that patent,
yeah,
right? Doesn't that patent expire, or did it already expire now?
Oh no, it's coming up on expiration. Let's see here. Worldwide applications 1999. So maybe it has. There it is. Application status is expired. Expired a year ago, almost to the day. January 29th of today. Actually, it's I guess if I add this right here, and maybe I can zoom in right there, but you can see.
Let's go make our neuroprotectants.
There it is. Let's go make our neuroprotectants, everybody. Right there. Application status is expired. So now it belongs to all of us.
Right. Even though it always did.
Sure.
So do you consume, Rob?
I do. Yeah. I medicate. Various times. I consider, everyone a patient, honestly, man.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing it for, what people call recreational, I like to call adult use, but it shouldn't be, like categorized, but I do personal use.
No, we say all use is medical use. Cause I mean, even like at the end of the day, if you had a bad day and you drink some beer and get fucked up, you could be in an accident. You smoke a dib and relax, and there you go.
That's right. It's pretty good. And like the stuff that I really enjoy now is because like they've done such a great job of turning up the cannabinoids. I like to take some of that fine organic industrial hemp flower that's out there, a good lifter strain or something, and I'll blend that into my medical THC, and it gives me a much more balanced, synergistic effect. Which is that a pre-roll for you, bud?
Yeah, I was trying to see if you guys can see it, because this is a pre-roll that's covered in some wax and then sprinkled with keef on top. So again, part of my experiment this morning, where I smoked a bowl, then I smoked one of these joints, and
are you dead yet?
I made it to work, and I done some shit. I'm just saying, dude. Yeah. One died.
I can't believe though. We talked about patent 663507 on the day it went off patent. That is pretty cool.
Funny. Yeah.
It's a good time right there.
Nope.
That's good SEO right there, buddy.
Yeah. So what does 2020 hold for PrestoDoctor? How's the growth trajectory looking?
Yeah. So we're excited to be expanding to a few more states in 2020. Also have another segment of business we're launching to be able to service more patients. So definitely excited to announce that pretty soon.
Are you gonna try and get to the Washington market?
We want to. Just Washington is a tough market, seeing that the program is they've gotten rid of it. So we want to be there with our new product. It'll definitely be something that we can see patients there.
Washington State has really trivialized their medical program, and they've basically just made it no program anymore.
So what they've done, because there never was a program. Like I said, it could have been somebody that got a degree off online, naturopaths, right? I mean, that is a degree, and it is a way to treat yourself. Like I always think, why can't I try the plant first, opposed to some little pill that was blue and manufactured by guys wearing suits and hazmat suits, right? But so how it began here was, okay, boom, medical magic. Now you have to find a doctor willing to give you that script, or a naturopath. Once you get that script, you're good to go. You can grow your own,
and it's not a script; it's that recommendation.
Yeah.
The prescription, that then you get into federal problems with the FDA and all that, and that's why it's a recommendation and not a prescription.
Yeah, and so what happened here when they restructured the recreational laws and the medical to help save the patients? They actually created a database, which some of us suspect might be being used against us, because there was a raid up north that I'm still trying to investigate on. But the thing is, so to have 15 plants as a medical patient, you have to be registered in this database. If I was just a patient, if I found a doctor to give me a script, it's under 15. So it's like 6 plants, I think, is my max as a patient. So I mean, you could still do a service, but then again, Washington's a bunch of assholes where they probably put in the law that you have to meet the person, like have that repertoire that you're talking about, Rob, where and because man, they really don't like patients here. I swear to God.
Yeah, no, I've heard the horror stories, and that's a tough one. We definitely want to be there, but some states are just it's a really uphill battle. So we try to get access to people just with states that have less friction, and then working our way.
That's what okay.
I was going to say, like, I don't understand. And it happens that, and somebody at one of our comments was actually about, how does it stay compliant? Telemedicine and with patient privacy as opposed to patent privacy, and HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Privacy Act of 1996, and those laws required certain procedures before you would share confidential patient information, and also procedures for warehousing that information, storing it, and selling it, like when a doctor would retire and another doctor would buy his practice. Mm-hmm. So how does PrestoDoctor address HIPAA?
Yeah, and also great question. Everything that we do is HIPAA compliant. That was something that was very important to us, getting started. Seeing that, when we launched, a lot of, not everyone, right, but there were a lot of cannabis doctors that were, weren't doing things above board. So we wanted to be, like the example. So everything from, where we like have the videos, like the video platform is HIPAA compliant, that patients connect with the doctor on, everything else, the payments, PCI compliant. We kind of crossed our T's and dotted our I's on making sure everything's HIPAA compliant, very secure, online.
Nice. And there was a question, or somebody made a point here about when I talked about the registration here, about how BS it is. I like to point out that in Washington State, we only have 2 registries: sex offender and cannabis patient.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah.
No, you sure that's accurate? You guys aren't keeping a track of like who has a gun permit or nothing?
Well, there is that vegan track list they have, but
the vegans, we have to keep the vegans on a track list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's soy and contained and living a proper life. I got nothing to do.
So what part of California are you from, Rob?
So I'm actually originally from Chicagoland area.
Oh, cool.
And then I was in California for 13 years in San Francisco. And then I just moved to New York about a year ago.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that New York has the ability to do these types of online medical recommendations. Mm-hmm. But any luck in Illinois?
So we're in early talks with some physicians we've kind of kept relationships with over the years, because as you mentioned earlier, Tom, a lot of patients are coming back and saying, hey, like, I can't buy anything. I want to be a patient now. So right. It's a lot of people being redirected. And so we're having conversations with doctors to see if they're open to seeing some of their current patients on our platform. So that's something that we're working on.
Since you're in multiple states, are you providing like educational for each individual state as far as like qualifiers?
Yes, we have qualifying conditions. We have articles specific to each state, and we post those on our blog, and also just have kind of sprinkles on social media as well.
Nice.
So when you're on social media, you can't buy ads, right?
So we can't buy ads, unfortunately.
Yeah, we can't buy ads neither. So that's why I got really good at Google. Just like, well, somebody's going to ask this to Google, and maybe Google will say like, "Oh, talk to this guy."
Yeah.
Hey, it works, but you can't buy ads.
Can't buy. I mean, there was some workarounds we found over the years. Like you can kind of do some landing page stuff, but I mean, overall, we were on AdWords for the first, I think, 6-7 months, which was insane, right? Like the results are just.
Oh, I'm sure, because like, how do I get my medical card? Bloop, PrestoDoctor. Yeah,
it was insane. But it was a battle because someone most likely competitors will report us because getting all the traffic, and so after a couple of times of getting reported, then you had to use a different email. So we used like a different teammate's email, and then like 3 of us at the time, and so then we started using the personal emails, and to a point where we literally ran out of emails, and we were on Fiverr.com and other sites buying. I didn't know it was a thing. You can buy aged Gmails, like it's aged wine, like. So 5-year aged Gmails, and it was a process. But that I mean, the point is, it's
ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous,
and
it's what you are advertising for is a legal product at its core. At the state, you're not going to try to advertise PrestoDoctor in Idaho, right? So you're not going to be in a location where somebody can't legally use your service.
Exactly.
It's only going to be in the states where you're legally going to be offering a patient's ability to access their medicine. And so, like, the craziest thing, though, I mean, before the law took it into effect here in Illinois in January, this is still January, but, beginning of this month, I had put a Google ad, like an AdWord, on for my cannabis law site. And nope. Didn't go through. And then suddenly, after like the first of the year, I'm like Googling just to see where I'm ranking. And then I see an ad for myself and I'm like, who the hell's running ads on me? Like I had forgotten that I had put this ad like 4 months ago and they said no. And I guess Google is like, oh, it's legal there now. So I guess we'll run this. Yeah, and so suddenly it started working. And I'm like, what the heck, Yeah.
There is one platform though you guys can advertise legally on, and they'll support you, and they got a billion people following. You guys know what that is?
No.
Pornhub.
Seriously?
No. For real. No, for real. Pornhub here in Washington State, there have been some dispensaries using Pornhub as advertising. I even had a conversation with the Pornhub advertising people because they were trying to. It's kind of funny because Pornhub contracts to another company. I have their name in my email, but that guy was on Reddit who he wasn't very savvy using Reddit. Uh-huh. And it looked like a cry for help. We're like, this is not legit. But then when I dug into it, this is a legit advertising agency for Pornhub, and they want cannabis dollars. That's all it is.
Everybody wants cannabis dollars. That's why I call it cannabis dollars.
We definitely speak to that. We've spoken to them before. The company that runs Pornhub ads, I think they're called Traffic Junkie.
Yeah, that's it. And
it makes sense from an eyeball perspective, but being on the medical end, it's difficult to
well, you don't want some guy there like, oh
no, like Google ads is
I'm sick
for it.
It's a faithful way to do that,
Right. When you're Googling on Pornhub, when you're at Pornhub, it's not like, what I need? My medical card. But when you're asking Google, like, how do I get my medical card? Yeah. PrestoDoctor, that helps. That helps.
Yeah. I mean, some companies have been, great at it. I think E24 was the first one that really crushed it. They, have anything from like put me in your mouth with a sandwich next to, whatever. But, if there was a tasteful way to do it, we would. But, it's like financially, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a tenth of the price of traditional advertisement.
But the bias is real, though. That's the thing. That's why with Tom, I mean, I've been doing the platform thing for over 10 years, and I've watched it shape itself where I would have a big following. I could do one post and reach out to 100,000 people after a couple repostings and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then as the algorithm kept shaping, I mean, you do your best, right? You got to tell your followers, subscribe and like to my shit, and put the bell on so you know when I'm on. But even that, I don't think helps because.
Hang on a second. We should probably do some branding as you bring that up right now. Let's make sure everybody make with the likes and subscribes, because if you don't, the Google algorithm will catch up to us. No,
it's real.
We'll be fine. It is real. I mean, like you can't find that Facebook page we made 10 years ago on Facebook if you search for it.
Yeah, you type in the word marijuana in just any search engine of the Facebook. Yeah, nothing. Like, yeah, no one smokes weed all of a sudden.
Right. And then suddenly when it becomes legal in Illinois, the state is out of weed. And so like marijuana or cannabis becoming legal in Illinois was the best thing that ever happened for black market cannabis, because everybody's like, let's go buy weed. What do you mean they're sold out?
Yep.
Call a guy.
Call the plug.
Yeah.
But it's also going to help your medical like I said, the fact that people are leaping to medical just so they can have that, it kind of.
Well, yesterday I put up my first tent in it wasn't my first tent, my first grow tent. I'm an Eagle Scout. I put up tents for years, but my first grow tent, and boy, those lights are powerful. Yeah. Damn. But that's one of the benefits of having your medical card in the state of Illinois. You can grow up to 5 plants.
Yeah, no, those lights are very bright. I think it was the last MJ BizCon. You go through, you see different cannabis companies, and for those that don't know, MJ BizCon is the largest cannabis conference. It's annually in Vegas. But walking through there, this year was just so many bright lights. It's just you feel like you're going blind. I mean, those things are great for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They grow all that stuff that Miggy's lounging on.
Damn right. Sea of green.
Yeah. Hey, what color is it actually in the background there?
Today it's actually green. Here, let me. I'll see if I can turn it off for a second. So the green screen reacts to both blue and green.
So it should be called the blue screen too.
Yeah, check it out. Look, it's a sheet.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
It works real well.
Yeah. I got a second sheet, the heavier material, and lighting does help. So we're getting there. Hey, Lauren.
Hey. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find and follow what's going on at PrestoDoctor?
Of course. Thanks for having me. So our website is PrestoDoctor.com. That's Presto like instant. On social media, we're at PrestoDoctor everywhere besides Instagram. We're at PrestoDoctor_official.
All right, great. We'll make sure to follow that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to tune in to keep up with all cannabis legalization news. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Rob.
Later.